Okay, so today I'm going to go over how to do a full head foil weave. So before you touch your client, go ahead and make sure that you sanitize. And then you're going to do a double drape because it is a chemical. I went ahead and sectioned my doll into 5, which is the mohawk, 2 on the sides, and then 2 in the back. And then in my consultation with my client, I'm going to ask how they part their hair, which way do they want it? Do they want a heavy highlight? Do they want a more of a natural looking highlight? It's just within the consultation of your client. So this is how I have her section, just for a basic application of a full head of highlights. And I'm going to put my gloves on before I start any chemical service. Then here is my lightener. So I'm going to show you guys how to do the sides first, which is going to be diagonal. I prefer to do a diagonal placement rather than horizontal, because if they do wear their hair back, you don't want stripe lines. So if you do a diagonal and they put it back, it's more of a natural looking and it flows better. I also always leave a piece out. And then that piece that I took out, I'll take the top section and I weave. Drop down that bottom section, grab my foil, now this is tucking it over. Now when I do put it on there, I go against the hair like that to push down any little stragglers. I leave my comb there for a second just to kind of lock it in place. I grab my lightener. Now I'm just gonna twist it up. You don't want to get all crazy with it because you don't want to break that cuticle. It's already going to be expanded with the lightener. So just go ahead and make sure that it's thoroughly saturated. I do understand it is a doll head, so it's going to be a little more difficult than what it would be on a client. And then you want to fold in your sides and fold in your sides. Now, if you notice that I clipped the clip on top of the other one, it's because you don't want to put a soiled clip back onto your clean SMA. Again, another diagonal parting. Half of that and weave. Now this one, we can go this way. Just to show you the difference of the way of how you could tuck in your foils. Either one, it doesn't matter, it's your own preference. Now remember that you don't want to get too close because lightener expands and you don't want to cause any bleeding. Make sure it's thoroughly saturated. And then you would continue on for that section.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm on the opposite side of the client's head. Remember the diagonal of how you took it. So on this side, I went just the opposite of how this one is. Now, if I don't remember that and I go diagonal this way, you're gonna have two different ways of how the highlights are gonna end up turning out. So just remember of your placements with everything that you're doing. So take down that front section. Take the half of that. And again, you're gonna do a weave. Push the hair back. Hold that down. Now, when you get your product, you want to push it firmly down. That way you make sure that it's holding the hair, it's locking the hair in place, and you want to saturate it. And again, stay a little bit away from the edge of the foil because lightener does expand.
How far away from the edge would you say?
About 1/4 to 1/2 inch, depending on what you're doing and if they have outgrowth. Then you're going to fold that and fold that. And then it's locked in. No bleeding. So then you would continue on with that section the same that we did on the other. Go ahead and take another about 1/2 inch. Pull that down. Slice that in half. And again, do your weave.
Go.
So now that you have the front two sections done and diagonally foiled upwards, we're gonna move to the back. And now with the back, I sectioned into 2 sections, more so just for control. And then also within my consultation with my client, she wants more of a natural look. So again, I diagonal partings on that as well. Do the same like how I did on the sides. Take out a section, cut that section into half. The reason again of why I do diagonal partings is because if you do horizontal, you don't want to end up with that line. This is more of a softer, natural look. And then go ahead and weave. And you're going to continue that on both sections in the back. And work your way up to the top of the head. Remember to fold over your foil. It locks it on the comb. Get product. Now you want to hold the hair, you don't want to pull the hair, but you want to hold it taut. Is that the word? Taut? You want to hold it a little more aggressively. You want to be able to make sure that the product is on there. And then just flip that up. You don't need to keep going like that. You don't want to do that. Just flip it up. Fold your foil in half. And then again on the sides. And again on the sides. Bring down your section. Do that again. Section that into half and do your weave. And then once you have completed both sections in the back, we're gonna move over to your front mohawk section. Okay, now we're up on the front mohawk section. Now you also, I forgot to tell you guys in the beginning, is how you guys want to measure the width of your section. You don't want hair coming out and longer than what your foil is. So right here, this is still enough because it's gonna be a weave and it'll fall over onto my foil. You also want to be careful with how much, how thick your partings are, because if it's too thick and it's not gonna be thoroughly saturated, if you don't have enough product, it won't be thoroughly saturated. And when you fold over your foil, you need to make sure that you're not leaving a line. So again, I took out a section. I'm gonna slice that in half. And then I'm gonna weave. Now, if you feel uncomfortable, you could always put protective cream in between your foils. It acts as a barrier and it'll also hold in place the foil from slipping onto the next one. And then when you get up to the top, you kind of want to feather it in a little. That way you don't leave a hard line of demarcation. Go ahead and fold that. And then you move on to your next. Take out another subsection. Now you're gonna do this for all the way up into the front. Then when we get to the front, I will show you guys your money pieces. So split your section in half. Do your weave. You should be able to see through your hair. If you can't, then it's obviously going to be too thick and it's not going to be fully saturated with your product. So the top part of the hair will be getting colored, getting bleached, and the bottom, nothing's going to happen to it. Remember that heat activates your lightener. So again, you don't want too much product to where it's going to bust out of the foil. So now you're gonna continue this all the way to the front. Now I'm gonna show you guys how to do the front. So now that I finished this part of the mohawk, I'm an inch away from the apex. So I'm gonna come around to the front of my client and I'm gonna go ahead and start on the bottom half. Again, I take out a section, about ½ an inch. I'm gonna put that back. And then I'm going to go half into that section. Leave that part down because I don't want to have any kind of I don't know what you would call it, like a skunk pattern. I don't want to have a heavy line up here in the front. So I section that. I'm going to weave this section out. Drop out that. Make sure that it's thin enough to where you can see through it. With your product, press down. That way you're making sure that it's going all the way through and it's being fully saturated. Go ahead and flip that up. And then kind of feather it in. Fold in half. Fold the sides. Now you could also fold that again. And because it's a thin enough section, you're not going to be leaving a crease mark. Now if it was too thick, it would be a crease mark and there wouldn't be enough product for saturation. Go ahead and bring down another section. Half of that. Do your weave. And you're going to continue to do that until you finish off that section to your other foil that you left on the mohawk. Just keep in mind whenever you're doing this to always think about placement, how they wear their hair, and how they want their highlights to be. Either they want a natural looking highlight, they want more of a chunky look, they want a slice. You could do a slice instead of a weave. All of it comes down to what you guys talked about in your consultation with your client. So again, leave that for that foil, leave that section for that foil right there. Take this section and cut that in half. There's hair for that, and now this is the part that you're gonna foil. So then that's how you do your front section. Now you could either flip them back over, and right there you can see that there's no bleeding. Or because we already cut those, well not cut, but we folded those in half, that makes it more comfortable for your client if you see in the front. And then again, lightener is not like color. Lightener will continue to process after 45 minutes, where color stops processing after 45 because then it has oxidized. So go back, check to see the desired result of what they want. Take them back to the shampoo bowl and wash their hair with lukewarm to cold water. Okay? All right.